Welcome to part 1 of my Alliance 1 to 60 leveling guide. If you haven't checked out the introduction yet, I recommend you do that now. But if you have, and you've made the commitment, it's 5 days, we just met, I'm super excited, I hope that everything works out for us. Let's jump into this guide. Alright, when you log onto the server for the first time, the first thing you want to do is create a human mailing alt. The appearance, of course, doesn't matter, but make sure the name is simple and short and easy to type. And remember, as this is the alt that we'll be using to mule throughout the leveling guide by mailing stuff to them. Then it'll be time to make your main character, but keep in mind when you're making this character that the appearance changes are not an option in Classic, so no matter how much of a rush you are in, make sure you get the look that you want for this character. Don't make him look like an idiot. Unless, of course, you want to look like an idiot. Then make sure your add-ons are in order, then we will log into the game. Immediately after logging in, you're going to be hit by the intro cinematic, so make sure if you're in a rush at the start of the game, you're spamming the escape button to skip the cinematic. Disable tips if it's your first time logging in, we're not going to need those, and then run forward and accept the quest A Threat Within from Deputy William, then run into the Abbey to turn it in and grab the follow-up Kobold Camp Cleanup. Then go back outside to William again for the quest Egan Peltskinner. And then run around the outside of the building to the northern end to turn in Egan Peltskinner and accept his quest, Wolves Across the Border, and start moving north. What can I do for you? Now, you should start hitting whatever you can as soon as you can, but your priority is going to be to kill the 10 kobold vermins as soon as possible. As time is of the essence in the early parts of a server launch, consider that a warrior, your maximum damage is your weapon swing speed. So try to always be swinging at something. Any 2 seconds you don't swing your sword is basically lost DPS. You can pull and tag multiple vermin here, but if you constantly have more than 3, you'll have to stop and eat eventually, so don't overdo it. Also utilize the fact that when you ding, you get your full HP and mana back, so casters' classes can burn yourself dry if you are about to hit another level. As a warrior, we're going to be skipping the Wolves quest at first because we want to get the Kobold Camp Cleanup done and be level 2 to get the Simple Letter quest and train our Battle Shout ability, which is going to increase our DPS by 1. It doesn't sound like a lot, but at this level it makes a difference in our kill speed, so we want to get that as quickly as possible. Once the quest is completed, start running back to the Abbey, but keep pulling mobs with you to keep the XP flowing in. If you ever find yourself running and there's a wolf nearby, just take a swing at it and strafe. Don't S key backwards, keep your full movement speed going, but keep the mob pulling with you, and don't forget to loot these guys. Silver is pretty important early on as we need to make a lot of purchases when we eventually get to Goldshire at level 6. In the Abbey, we're going to turn in Kobold Camp Cleanup and accept the 2 follow-up quests, Investigate Echo Ridge and a Simple Letter. Then we're going to move further into the Abbey and turn in a Simple Letter and train Battle Shout and put it on your hotkey bar. Then head back outside of the Abbey and grab the quest Brotherhood of Thieves from William. Hello. Now we're going to run south, west, and south and start focusing on wolves for Wolves Across the Border. Generally, the wolves south are much less contested early on. Our goal here is to keep Battle Shout up, never stop swinging, get to level 3, and complete Wolves Across the Border. Once we've gotten all these things done, we're going to move on. But a trick for these wolves as they are spread out is once you've aggroed one, pull it towards your next target, kill it, and then get to the next wolf and start working on that one. Don't ever just stand still if there's no immediate target next to you, or you'll end up just wasting, as I said, your swing timer. Once you've finished Wolves Across the Border and level 3, run across the river to the south and start killing Defias thugs for Brotherhood of Thieves. Be careful here as these guys are tightly packed. You can handle 2 of them at a time if you are full HP, but 3 can be deadly to you. Also in this area you can keep an eye out for chests that can sometimes spawn and clear to 1 if you see it. This will make your early levels way easier if you get a boost in silver and maybe even a green one-hand sword from a chest. But if you don't get one, don't worry, you'll still be fine. Now the reason we are rushing to do this quest first before the other kobold ones, despite them being easier, is because it further ups our damage by rewarding a 2 DPS sword. Now don't be shy about clearing too far into the Defias camps here. The reason for this is we're going to be hearthing or suiciding out of this area anyway, so it's not going to be a big deal. Our goal here is to just complete the quest and make sure we are about 4 bars away from level 4. Now in this starting area, Northshire Abbey, it can be very crowded very early on, so it's important to realize our goals are not to do all the quests, but our goals are to hit level 6 and try and get about 6 silver. So if it's impossible to do the quests efficiently, change your objectives and just keep the right mindset. Don't ever lock yourself into completing a quest if 50 other people are trying to do it. But given that sharding is going to be a thing, this shouldn't be much of an issue, at least in Elywnn Forest. So once you finish the quest and have the correct amount of XP 4 bars away, suicide back or hearth if you need to, but suiciding is better here, and spirit res. Then turn in the quest and take the sword reward and equip it instantly.
How are you?
Then accept the 2 follow-up quests, Millie Osworth and Bounty on Garrick Padfoot, and then vendor the trash drops so that you have at least 2 silver. Don't accidentally vendor the sword you just got, make sure you equip that.
I supply only the finest goods.
And run into the Abbey to train your skills Charge and Rend. Once you've trained your skills, we're going to head out of the Abbey and around the north side to turn in wolves across the border. Now it's time to head back out and start killing the kobold workers. Utilize Charge as a movement ability here to get places quicker and acquire targets to keep the XP flowing in and keep your weapon swinging. The worker spawns are roughly in the same areas as the vermin, but there are a larger number of spawns just outside the northern cave. If the area is flooded with players now, consider grouping up to get the next few quests complete more quickly, but workers have enough spawns that you should be okay. Once you've finished with the workers, we're going to immediately go back into the Abbey and turn in the quest and accept the follow-up skirmish at Echo Ridge.
Ability isn't ready yet. Need more rage. Not ready yet. Not enough rage.
Greetings.
Then we're going to run back north, this time into the mine, where we're going to be killing kobold laborers. Now at this time, you should definitely group up if this area is being farmed or contested by other players. The laborers do not have enough spawns that 5 people farming individually can complete the quests in a short amount of time. So it's best that you just join up with a full group and get the laborers dead as fast as possible. Make sure you are utilizing Ren to its fullest as well. Keep track of its ticks. Don't keep DPSing a mob if the Ren on it is enough to kill it already. Move on to the next mob and let the Ren do its thing. Once you finish the skirmish at Echo Ridge quest, we are going to charge or kill our way back to the east side of the Northshire Abbey, where we'll find Millie Osworth.
It's too far away. My ability isn't ready yet.
We're going to turn in the quest Millie Osworth and accept the quest Millie's Harvest, then continue your way east back towards the Defias.
That ability isn't ready yet.
Now, a priority in the Defias area this time around is to kill Garrick Padfoot, a named mob. He spawns at a shed on the southeast area and has roughly a 5-minute respawn timer. You should definitely group up for this guy if he's not up and other people are waiting, but do not idle around and wait for him to respawn. Keep killing Defias and clear around the farm field, looting the grapes in the field to complete Millie's Harvest. And if you don't have a lock on his respawn timer, keep an eye on him and make sure you see when he's up. If you get too far away from your party members while you're waiting for him to respawn, you can keep an eye on their mana and rage bar, and the moment you see them moving, make sure you run back as quickly as possible so that you're in range to loot his head when he does respawn. In addition to completing these two quests, we have a secondary objective that we want to make sure we get 1300 XP out of 2800 XP. This will guarantee that when we turn in all of our quests in Goldshire, we'll be level 6. But if you can't get the Padfoot quest before you get to around 1700 XP off the Defias, then just skip the Padfoot quest. It's not worth it to just sit there trying to kill him. The XP equals out anyway.
I can't do that yet. I have a target.
Once you've got this all done, run back to the Abbey and turn in Millie's Harvest outside the Abbey first and accept Grape Manifest.
Not enough rage. Not ready yet. Hello.
Then head around the Abbey and vendor your trash, head inside to turn in Skirmish at Echo Ridge and grab the follow-up report to Goldshire. Then go upstairs and turn in the Great Manifest at the very top level.
Light bless you. Well done. Be careful. Hey there.
Once you've turned it in and got a mail belt, you can jump down and run out of the Abbey. And outside turn in bounty on Carrick Padfoot if you did it. The ideal reward here for warriors is the leather chest. Now it's time to head to Goldshire. On your way running out of Northshire Abbey, accept the quest at the entrance called Rest and Relaxation.
Hello.
Cut through the woods to save some time and charge the mangy wolf that spawns there if it's alive. Just be mindful of the overzealous guard on the road that likes to come and steal your kill if you get too close. Now if you run straight forwards towards the first building east of the road, you'll find that skinning leatherworking trainer inside. Enter the building and talk to the NPC on the left to train the skinning profession for 10 copper. Another option is to grab alchemy and herbalism instead of skinning right off the bat, but I don't recommend this even though we plan to do this later. This is going to cost you money issues and bag space issues if you start leveling alchemy at these early stages. Now, once you've trained skinning, carry on into Goldshire. Outside, turn in report to Goldshire and accept the Fargodeep Mine, then go into the inn and accept kobold candles around the corner from William, then turn in rest and relaxation and set your Goldshire hearthstone. At this time, you need to look at your silver and consider your priorities. Your first priority here is to buy the 5 silver, 50 copper sword. If you can afford that, buy that and skip everything else if you can't afford anything else. The sword is going to make the next section much easier. I'd even recommend, if you got an extra bag but you don't have enough silver, sell the bag, as the bags sell for 2 silver, 50 copper, and then buy the sword instead. The next priority is to train first aid, which is on the second floor of the inn, on the second room in front of the staircase, that costs 1 silver. And then your third priority is to buy a skinning knife, which would cost you 88 copper from the vendor in the southern side of Goldshire. And lastly, your number 4 is your skills. Training parry for 1 silver and thunderclap for 1 silver. It's very unlikely you're going to be able to buy all this stuff unless you got lucky with a chest. But while you're running around doing this, grabbing the sword, grabbing first aid, grabbing the skinning knife, training your skills, we also want to accept one more quest here, Gold Dust Exchange. We'll accept the quest next to the vendor that sells the skinning knife. And the warrior trainer, if you're not familiar, is on the opposite side of the blacksmith on the west side of Goldshire. So once you've gotten first aid or your weapon or your skills trained and your skinning knife and you've got the 3 quests, we are going to run south out of Goldshire and we're going to instantly start killing boars. The reason we're killing the boars is to level skinning for skinning money and boar meat and of course XP. 4 boar meat is going to be required for an upcoming quest, and then we'll also want another 10 boar meat to get our cooking high enough to learn spiced wolf meat recipe by the end of this cycle. So as you clear the outside of the Fargodeep Mine, making your way southwest, you'll start seeing kobolds around the outside of the mine. If you do, kill them, as they're much easier to kill than the ones inside the mine and are required for the next few quests as well. Don't be shy about grinding a bit here, as we'll need a bunch of extra XP in this circuit anyway. Once you arrive at the Stonefield Farm, southwest of the mine, you'll find 2 NPCs outside of the southern farmhouse. Accept from them the quest Lost Necklace and Princess Must Die. Then start killing your way east, around the mine, towards the McClure farms on the other side of the mine. Be mindful of the level 8 to 9 bears here that can be nasty at this level and pretty easily kill you. Keep prioritizing boars and kobolds. Use charge to stay mobile, and only take breaks from killing when you need to regen HP. Don't stop to eat just because we have so much traveling to do. Just let our spirit do the health regen while we travel, and once our HP is high enough, engage another beast.
I need to get closer. I can't do that yet.
Once we reach the McClure farm, we're going to turn in the quest Lost Necklace for the follow-up, and then go to the southern farmhouse and accept the quest from the lady called Young Lovers.
How are you?
Now we're going to kill our way south around the river. More boars back west. Follow along the river and make sure you have at least 4 boar meat at this time. As you clear up the river to the west and then north, you'll eventually make your way to the quest NPC turn in for Young Lovers. So turn that in and accept the follow-up Speak with Grandma.
You need something?
And then clear east through the Stonefield Farm, killing all possible boars until you reach the turn-in for Lost Necklace. Turn it in and give it your 4 boar meat. And inside the house, turn in Speak with Grandma and accept the quest Note to William. One last time, we're going to kill our way east back to the McClure Fields to turn in Lost Necklace and grab the last follow-up.
I'm out of range. My ability isn't ready yet.
At this time, you're going to want to look at your XP bar. You want to be level 7 or very close to level 7 before heading into the Fargodeep Mine, and make sure you've got your 10 boar meat. If you need to grind more or your bags are full, utilize the fruit vendor on the northern part of the Stonefield farm to keep your bags clean. Once you feel ready, head into the mine using the lower western entrance. The lower level is pretty straightforward. Now this mine, however, is very deadly for a warrior. You can handle 2 of these mobs at full HP. 3 will be your death, and it's very hard to kite and reset just given the nature of this tunnel. So if you have any potions, don't be shy about using them if you aggro too many. Try to keep your HP full in case you accidentally pull too many mobs if you're in here by yourself. Utilize buff scrolls if you get any, but the most difficult aspect of being in this mine is face pulling cautiously, and if other players are in here, you won't be able to track the kobold respawn timers, so the most likely cause of your death will be having them randomly respawn on top of you. At the end of the lower level of this mine, you're going to find a ramp that goes up and a path that branches to the right. Sometimes a chest can spawn in the right path, so it's worth checking out. And at the top of the ramp is where we're going to find Goldtooth. This is the named kobold that we need for the Lost Necklace quest. If he's dead, keep an eye on his spawn. It's a good idea while you're doing this quest in here, you group up if it's contested. It'll speed up your completion time and let you move a lot more freely without any fear of dying if you have a party member, especially somebody who can buff you or heal you like a paladin or a priest. You'll see here, as I do kill Goldtooth and loot him, the kobolds respawning on top of me take me down, but I'm able to res outside the mine and keep killing kobolds to finish this quest.
Need more rage. I'm out of range. Not ready yet.
Once you complete all 4 of these quests, explore Fargodeep Mine, the Kobold Candles, the Goldtooth quests, and the Gold Dust quests, we're going to keep killing in this area, boars and kobolds, until you get 1800 experience into level 7. This will allow all of the turn-ins that we're about to do to ding you to level 8 and train your level 8 skills before moving on to the next cycle. If you don't do this, then you'll be going to level 10 without your level 8 skills, which include hamstring, which is a big deal for staying alive and dealing for multiple monsters. So it's worth just grinding out a little bit more for more silver, linen, and boar meat and XP. If the area is crowded, you can even go northwest across the road to kill spiders and wolves there for XP. They have no quest objectives, so usually they have little to no competition. Once you have the experience you need, turn in Lost Necklace and then commit suicide somehow. If you turn in Lost Necklace early, you'll need 2,700 XP and then you can commit suicide somehow, which shouldn't be too hard to do with the amount of enemies that'll be around. Once you suicide, spirit res and run north. There's a small path up the mountains you must navigate around Defias, and at the top of the mountain you'll find the Herbalism Trainer. Pick it up for 10 copper, and then hearth back to Goldshire.
Need more rage. Hey there.
Herbalism does slow down leveling a little bit at first because the early skill points are tedious to gain, but in the long run it pays off massively and makes the later levels of this guide way easier. So if you are playing on a fresh server, do not skip your secondary gathering professions, you will regret it. Once you're back in Goldshire, turn in all of these quests. The rewards they give are some neat consumables, but they also vendor for a lot of silver, which is important early on. Head into the kitchen of the inn and learn cooking. Cook the boar meat that you got until your cooking skill is at least level 10, and then train spiced wolf meat. When you turn in the note to William, accept the quest collecting kelp in the inn.
To you. Have a good one. See you around. King's Honor, friend. Need some-
And then when you get the quest Fishy Pearl on the south side of the town, turn it in for further concerns. When you turn in the Fargodeep Mine quest, get the Jasper Lode Mine quest. Train Hamstring and Heroic Strike rank 2 and Thunderclap if you haven't already, and put them all on easy hotkeys.
Safe travels.
And if you've got leftover silver, you can buy armor and bag upgrades, but don't spend too much money yet unless you've got no bags thus far, because at the end of the circuit we'll be hitting Honored with Stormwind, which is going to reduce the cost of everything by 10%. Once you've trained and grabbed the 3 quests, we're going to start finding herbs and start clearing our way northeast around the lake. As we start this next circuit, there's 2 extra objectives we want to carry out. We want to actively seek out herbs to get us to 15 herbalism as soon as possible, because 15 herbalism is the skill required to grab Earthroot, which you're going to start seeing on the mountainsides. We also want to kill the wolves for stringy wolf meat to give us some stam food and level up our cooking. When you find herb nobs, don't be shy to kill some monsters to get it, as XP and skinning and wolf meat are all things we want. As for the murlocs, try to pull the groups of 1 or 2. If you get 3, then you're going to have to use your hamstring to kite to while you kill one, otherwise you may die or you'll have to use a potion. Now once you finish the murlocs and get the 4 kelp from clearing around the lake, we're gonna continue northeast until you reach the Jasper Lode Mine. The mine here is pretty annoying to deal with. There are kobold casters and they're able to kill us in like 4 to 5 casts, and we have no interrupt at this level. So first, enter the mine from the west side, hugging the northern mountain, which will allow us to get into the mine without getting any aggro of any of the kobolds outside. Inside, we're going to start clearing our way in. If you aggro 2 kobolds at a time, use the hamstring method if they're melee, use line of sight and kill one while you line of sight the wizard and make your way back out the same way you came. You should be able to survive 2 and kill 1 in the process, as long as you start running away and use hamstring right off the bat. If you start to get a little bit too overwhelmed, you can try to just suicide into the mine to get quest credit, die, and then run back. But try not to do this because the run back here is pretty nasty. Line of sight is a tool you need to utilize here to its full potential. Once the quest is complete, just get the hell away from the kobolds and back to the wolves so we can grind our way through the forest collecting more herbs, making our way southeast now towards the road where it meets the river. Ideally, you should end off with about 10 to 20 stringy wolf meat and 15 or close to 15 herbalism by the time you reach the bridge. The great thing about grinding around here again is that these are not quest mobs, so they're often uncontested even at server launches. And when you reach the guard, turn in further concerns and accept the quests Find the Lost Guards, Bounty on Murlocs, and Protect the Frontier. Then run across the bridge and go northeast around the first house to accept red linen goods at the front of the house. And in the middle of the camp, you'll find the quest Bundle of Trouble. Once you have all of these quests, run to the eastmost house right next to the Bundle of Trouble, where you can vendor your leather and other junk and buy some mild spices from the guy inside the house. And next to the fireplace, you can start cooking all of that wolf meat into spiced wolf meat to give you your first 2 stamina, 2 spirit buff food.
Light bless you. What can I do?
Try to keep the buff food up as we move on to the next set of quests. The 2 stamina and 2 spirit are just a nice boost to always have up, and it didn't really cost us anything extra to get it. Start by running east out of the house and start fighting young forest bears and prowlers, and keep an eye out for the wooden logs next to the trees for a Bundle of Trouble. Now, an important thing to note here is to watch the patrolling prowlers. Do not aggro 2 prowlers at a time. If you do, use hamstring to kite and reset them. The prowlers can come as level 9 or level 10 enemies. Take note that if you haven't bought much armor yet, the level 10s will just straight up kill you 1 vs 1 from full HP if you get some unlucky misses or parries or dodges. And as you have hamstring now, it might be worth starting out utilizing the hamstring method on the prowlers given their attack speeds. Hamstring method is used by basically slowing the enemy, swinging at it, and then strafing out of melee range until your auto attack is off cooldown. That way, regardless of the enemy's attack speed, you both always only hit each other 1 for 1. This method will become very important later on when we start using slow weapons against fast attack enemies. But as you kill them, navigate towards the herb nodes and then make your way northwest towards the river. Once you reach the river, cross it and go to the shore of the lake to find this red pile of meat and interact with it to turn in the quest Lost Guards and accept Discovers Rolf's Fate. Once you've done this, head back across the river and finish up the quests Protect the Frontier and a Bundle of Trouble. During this time, start picking off lone murlocs if you find one around the shore to get murloc fins for Bounty on the Murlocs quest. This item is not a quest drop, so you can accidentally vendor it, so be careful of that. But it is also tradable, and it can take a little bit of time to get all of them that you need for the quest. Now on the eastern side of these murloc camps, you're going to find another pile of meat that we'll need to clear to for the Discover Rolf's Fate quest. However, this piece of meat is surrounded by a pole of 3 murlocs typically. If they are not there, great, but if they are, it can be soloed. It's pretty hard. Luckily, there are usually other people around here clearing it that you can work with, but if for some reason you find yourself here alone, you're going to need to utilize hamstring on the adds while focusing one down, then resetting them, and do this twice until all 3 die. It's possible to keep 2 murlocs out of your melee range if you use hamstring on them while you strafe away from the one you don't slow and kill that one alone. Then just run away and reset the 2 that you did slow and get full HP, and then go back and do the same thing, killing them one by one using this method. Generally, when you are doing risky pulls like this though, you'll want to build up rage first on an easy single target pull, so that when you do engage the tough pull, you have a full rage bar and you can easily pump out the hamstrings and pump out heroic strikes to kill your target quickly. Once you clear to the meat, however, interact with it to discover Rolf's Fate complete, and take the follow-up Report to Thomas. from here, just keep killing murlocs until you finish the quest bounty on murlocs, and try and get to level 9 by killing whatever. When you meet these two conditions, we're going to swim across the water to the island in the middle of the lake where you're going to find Defias rogue wizards. These can be taken out solo, one at a time. As long as you pull each with full HP, you should be fine. They should have no chance of killing you. Use linen they drop for bandages to keep your HP up in case you start running low on food. And keep an eye out for Furblow's Lost Deed, as this is a quest starting item that Defias creatures all throughout the zone have a chance to drop. Our goal with these wizards is to complete the quest Red Linen Goods by getting 6 red linen bandanas. Then we also want to get to 1300 experience out of 6500 to level 10. This is going to guarantee that all of these quest turn-ins that we're about to do will hit us to level 10. Once you get that experience and the quests complete, you can commit suicide using the wizards in the middle of the island, as there's a bunch of them bunched together there, and then spirit res back at the logging camp.
It's too far away. It's too far away.
Once you're in the camp, clear your bags and turn in a bundle of trouble in the middle.
Well met.
Then move southwest to Red Linen Goods on the west side.
Honor, friend.
Then go back to the guard at the bridge and turn in bounty on murlocs, protect the frontier, and report to Thomas, and accept deliver Thomas's report and report to Gyron's Stoutmantle. Then we're going to be using our Hearthstone back to Goldshire, or if your Hearthstone's still on cooldown, just run back.
What can I do for you?
In Goldshire, we're going to turn in collecting kelp in the inn and wait a few seconds here for the NPC to offer you his follow-up, the escape.
Hello.
Turn in deliver Thomas's report for a cloth and leather armor quest, and turn in the Jasper Lode Mine, and accept Westbrook Garrison needs help. Also accept delivery to Stormwind from William if you haven't done that already. Clear your bags, mail any herbs now that you have to the mailing alt that you made initially. We'll not be leveling alchemy until level 36, so do this for all herbs you gather anytime you find a mailbox. Don't vendor them. Next, head to the warrior class trainer and train your level 10 skills and accept the warrior class quest, and it's time to run to Stormwind. Now run north along the northwestern road until you reach the magnificent human capital. Once we enter Stormwind, we'll find the turn-in to delivery to Stormwind pretty close to the entrance inside the building, to the left. Turn it in for the strength potions.
Hey there. See you around.
And then continue straight through the plaza to the building on the right side into the weapon trainer building, where we're going to train our crossbow weapon skill for 9 silver and buy a crossbow and some arrows.
What can I do for you?
Open for business.
Next, we'll run to Old Town into the inn on the eastern side and turn in the warrior class quest.
What can I do for you? What can I do?
We're going to beat up a drunk guy with ease, turn it in to get defensive stance, and then grab the follow-up quest.
You need something?
If you haven't hearthed yet before back to Goldshire because of a cooldown, there's a chance you can now. So once you have the quest to find Haggard, head back out to Elwynn Forest via running or hearthing, and then start running east back to the Eastvale logging camp. Now I recommend while you're making this trek to not just follow the road here. We still want to level herbalism as much as possible, and it will slow down your XP a little bit at these early stages, but trust me, oh boy, will it pay off later massively in the level 30s, 40s, and 50s, and you'll be so glad you did it. Just trust me on this one. Once you reach the Eastvale logging camp, turn in the cloth and leather armor at the same NPC that gave us the red linen goods quest.
You need something? Be careful.
And then head across the camp to turn in the warrior class quest and accept the quest Dead Tooth. From here, run south directly across the road from where it will do the class quest for our green weapon. So while we're doing this, other classes, you probably got a level 10 class quest as well. Figure out where it sends you, and most of them send you somewhere in Elwynn Forest, and do it at this time as well. The warlock one, the priest, the mage, all those ones. But for warrior, we gotta go here. So this quest here on the south side of the road can be a little bit tricky, so clear your way to the Defias camp by killing all the prowlers on the way, and clear around the south side of the camp as well, so you have a clear path to kite away from the Defias camp towards the river and towards Redridge. And one by one cautiously pull the Defias until you have access to pulling Dead Tooth, getting your money's worth out of the crossbow that you just bought. So very likely you'll pull Dead Tooth with one Defias, possibly two. So be patient, build up rage first on a nearby single pull, make sure you have battle shout up so that when you engage, you can hamstring the target you are not killing and focus down the one while the other is being kited and can't get in range to hit you. Once you've killed the target you want to kill, reset the ones you hamstringed, fill up your HP, and then repeat the process until you clear around the camp and kill Dead Tooth for his key. It can take a little time if you're here by yourself, but definitely doable solo without having to burn a bunch of potions. Of course, if you do have potions, they'll make this go a lot quicker. You can just kill two right at the gate. Once you've done this, loot the chest in the middle of the camp for the quest item. Then head on north to turn it in for the 7 DPS sword. We're sticking with one-hand swords here just to avoid the weapon skill mess early on and utilize our human racial. Once we're done, we're going to head west towards the farm south of the road where we're going to find Princess patrolling around. Kill the Defias around this farm field. The same idea here, we want to kite path to pull the 3 mobs, as Princess, the named mob, pulls with 2 extra boars that we're going to need to kill one by one using the same hamstring method if you're stuck here fighting Princess by yourself. Though more than likely you'll find other people here. If that's the case, group with them to trivialize this fight. And if you find yourself waiting for her to respawn, kill the Defias to try and get the Furblau deed for the free quest XP, or kill boars for more boar meat to level cooking. All in all, she can be dealt with pretty easily, especially now that we have our nice new 7 DPS sword. And once she's dead and you have the quest item, run west through the forest back towards the McClure farm field. It's a pretty long run, so on the way keep an eye out for herbs, use charge to move fast, and keep killing. If you didn't get the Furblau deed off of the Defias yet, you might consider clearing more Defias around Gerard's Landing to get it to drop for a bit. It's not a bad idea to kill a few extra. It'll save you a bit of time if you get the quest in the end. And once you reach the McClure farm field, however, head to the southern house to turn in the quest The Escape. If the NPC isn't there, it means someone else turned in the quest, so just wait a few seconds and she'll reappear. Then head west towards the Stonefield farm and turn in Princess Must Die.
What can I do for you? Be careful.
Once that's done, we can head northwest back across the road towards the human barracks on the other side of the northwestern river, and outside of it we'll be able to turn in the quest Westbrook Garrison Needs Help and accept the follow-up Riverpaw Knoll Bounty. Next to the guard, you're going to see a wanted poster. Interact with that to accept the quest called Wanted Hogger. We're going to then head south across the road and start killing gnolls while keeping an eye out for anyone else in the area interested in killing Hogger. On all the 20 plus characters I've leveled through this area, I've never once had trouble finding another player to kill Hogger. But don't try to solo him unless you're absolutely desperate. It is possible to solo Hogger using kiting and bandages if you can't find anyone, but it's a last resort. It takes a really long time. So just grind the gnolls until you find someone. Now we have two objectives here with these gnolls. We want to complete Riverpaw Knoll Bounty, but we also want to get enough linen to reach level 40 first aid. There are plenty of solo gnoll poles for you to pick off in these camps, but if you can group up, it's not a bad idea to try clearing the camps of poles of 3 and 4 with your newfound weapon. A partner healer or DPS makes it possible and more efficient to kill lots at a time now that we have stuff like Thunderclap. But just keep in mind the painted gnoll bands don't really have a great drop rate. Now once you complete Hogger and Riverpaw Knoll Bounty and get your first aid to 40, which can possibly take a little bit of extra killing, it's time to head back north to turn in Riverpaw Knoll Bounty and then make your way along the road west into Westfall. Once you're in Westfall, turn in the Furblough's Deed if you manage to get it, and accept all 3 quests they offer you.
Hello. Safe travels.
Then make your way west and south along the road and start killing boars and coyotes along the way for their meat to keep your experience flowing in.
Not enough wood. Need more rage.
When you reach the farmhouse west of the road, go inside to turn in the quest Westfall Stew, but do not accept any of these quests.
Hello.
Head back out and kill boars and coyotes for their meat until you are 2,300 experience away from hitting level 12. Then we're going to head south to Sentinel Hill to turn in Report to Gyron Stoutmantle. Behind Gyron in the tower, you're going to find a quest called Swift Message. Accept this, then go down the hill south of the tower to find the Flight Master and turn in the quest A Swift Message and accept Continue to Stormwind, and then fly to Stormwind. Once you land in Stormwind, make your way into Old Town, then continue to the southeast building to turn in Continue to Stormwind and accept the follow-up, Dungar something rather. We're gonna be running back now to the Flight Master and fly back to Westfall. Now this quest does feel a bit tedious, running around a bit, but it gives a lot of XP for very little work, and the next time we're here, it's gonna be grayed out, so it's best that we do this quest now. Once you land in Westfall, turn in the last part of this quest, and then Hearth to Goldshire. Or if your Hearth isn't up, grind more and then whenever your hearth comes up, hearth. Don't run back, it's going to waste you a lot of time. In Goldshire, we want to mail our herbs to our alt, cook our meat, and then train any new cooking recipes we can. Ideally, you should be around 40 to level 50 cooking now. If you are not, you're a bit behind where you need to be, so try to pick up the slack in the next circuits. Vendor, repair, turn in wanted Hogger for some nice green pants, and in the blacksmith, accept quest Elmore's task, then go on the other side to train your warrior level 12 skills. It's very important that you train Shield Bash as your level 12 skill, or you're going to have a lot of trouble with the next circuits. Now the last thing we want to do here in Goldshire is head upstairs to the second floor of the Goldshire Inn and train heavy linen bandages. You should have 40 first aid if you follow this guide through the Knoll quest, and this will allow you to train the better bandages and move forward. If you are behind on first aid, don't worry too much, as you'll have plenty of opportunities to catch up on training this first aid as we go through this guide, but try not to fall too far behind or you'll have issues.
What can I do for you?
Once you're ready to rock, run north back into Stormwind, and this time we're going to be making our way to the Dwarven district on the northeastern side of Stormwind. In here, we're going to be turning in Elmore's task to accept the follow-up, Stormpike's delivery. Then head into the Deep Run Tramp. And with that, folks, we are done with the first part of this leveling guide. Move on ahead to part 2 when you're ready to go. I am booping out.
Boop.